try this again. Refraction. So when does refraction occur? When light travels from one medium to another. So when it goes from one material and changes into another material. What property of light changes when it goes from uh, when it refracts? When it goes from one material to another, it changes its speed. Okay? So typically, what wave property doesn't change? The frequency of light stays the same. So in general, what happens when light refracts? This is weird. It actually changes direction. We'll talk about why that happens in class. So what happens to the speed of light when it passes through a transparent material compared to traveling through a vacuum? So light actually travels slower in the transparent material compared to a vacuum. Um, Different materials cause it to travel at different speeds, and the way we quantify that or measure that is called the index of refraction. So the index of refraction, N, is the ratio of the speed of light in a vacuum, so 3 times 10 to the 8th meters a second, divided by the speed of light in the material. So each material has its own index of refraction. Um, so if a material has a higher index of refraction than another one, that means your n is bigger. So c is a constant. So in order to make n bigger, the speed would have to decrease. So the higher the index of refraction, the slower light travels in the material. So here's some indices of refraction. Space, you have 1, air, close to 1, ice, 1.3, all the way up to diamond, 2.4. It's not the highest, but it is definitely a high one. So when light travels from one material, which travels faster, into a material that travels slower, what happens to light? So this is crazy. This is a change in direction. Um, it bends towards the normal line. So here we see a picture of the light starting in air and then going into water. It bends towards the normal line when that happens. When it goes from a lower index of refraction, air, to a higher index of refraction, water, it bends towards the normal line. So when the reverse happens, so light going, starting in a slower material and then transitions into a faster material, what happens is light bends away from the normal line. So here we see light starting in water and going into air. So it's going from slow to fast, or from a higher index of refraction to a lower index of refraction. It bends away from the normal line. So Snell's law captures this, how much the, the angle changes. This is n1 sine theta 1 is equal to n2 sine theta 2. N1 is the material that light starts in, like where it comes from. Theta 1 is the angle of incidence. N2 is the material that light ends up in, so where it goes into. And theta 2 is the angle of refraction.